Alors, on vient de voir un regard de la côte est des États-Unis. Maintenant, qu'en est-il du côté de la Chine? Deng Shuang est l'ancienne CEO de CDB Capital, qui est une filiale de China Development Bank. Deng Shuang est aujourd'hui en train de constituer l'un des plus gros fonds de fonds en Chine. On aurait adoré la voir avec nous en live. Malheureusement, elle est trop loin, elle est basée à Pékin. Et donc, elle nous a envoyé un message avec son regard depuis la Chine.
Respectful Mr. Nicholas DeFock, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to speak at Capital Invest today. My name is Deng Shuang. I worked at China Development Bank for more than 20 years. CDB, very much like our host BPI, is the most prominent government-backed institutional investors in private equity. I established and managed the few largest funds in China, through which we sponsored over nearly 200 funds covering more than 3,000 portfolio companies. On behalf of the Chinese government, my team set up over 20 bilateral or multilateral funds with financial institutions from almost every continent. Among these partnerships, with BPI being one of the closest, we had the privilege to co-sponsor Cathay Capital with BPI, which after 10 years has become an established manager in France and China. Today, I'd like to share with you a few observations with respect to China PE markets in this pandemic. Some fund managers I talked to recently deployed more capital than ever this year. We spotted a few trends. Industry-wise, online education and online shopping, as well as healthcare, are able to capture business opportunities in this special situation, and thus gain particular popularities among investors. One of our portfolio companies, KingMed Test, is the largest clinic testing labor network in China. It processed 22 million samples this year for COVID-19 virus testing. Second, companies which acted quickly to shift to digital channels are in general better positioned than their peers, using live stream video platforms to conduct marketing and sales has been widely adopted across the consumer industries, from automakers to skincare. A typical example is Perfect Diary, a local cosmetics brand, particularly popular among young white-collar in cities, achieved grand business success in a few years' time and completed IPO this year. It markets and sells products predominantly online. Third, during this period, China has launched a series of reforms on capital market and listing rules, opening China's Nasdaq-style STAR board and piloting a registration-based and compared to the current scrutiny-based IPO regime, enable private equity investors to achieve investment exits 2 to 3 years sooner, which in turn encourages PE investors to deploy more capital. Furthermore, the new listing rules now provide a pre-profit high-tech companies to conduct IPO. Easier access to capital market could also mean that IPO is not the finish line for PE investors, who should really now focus more on business and commercial fundamentals when evaluating investment opportunities. What will the post-COVID-19 era look like? In short, we have confidence in the market in this part of the world. China is becoming the world's largest consumer market, even with the hate. Consumer confidence is rising steadily with strong consumption desire and demand, thanks to the country's relatively fast economic growth and a huge population size. China is not just one unified market. The most economically advanced places are 20 to 30 years ahead of the least developed areas in the country at almost all fronts. This itself creates magnificent development momentum. People in different consumer circles with distinctive needs and preferences all seek better products and services through spending and consuming. This is a mega trend in today's China and will likely to stay true in the next few decades. I believe that this presents fantastic investment opportunities for domestic and global investors alike. All these positive trends aside, as I often got asked, is China's economic growth healthy and sustainable? I don't deny that there are challenges in our economy and market. For example, abundant liquidity pushes up asset prices and very high valuation levels of certain industries in our stock markets are not likely to last. However, we do see strong fundamentals behind the resilience of solid Chinese companies more now than just 5 years ago. We also see quite a number of internet-based business giants emerge in the enormous-sized market with the largest population in internet users. On technology fronts, 2/3 of the top 50 US public companies are tech-based. On Hong Kong Stock Exchange, 50% of the China-based companies are also tech firms. In particular, in biotech, an increasing number of Chinese biotech companies are catching attentions of both domestic and global investors as a result of their pipeline novelty and strong R&D capabilities. In this constantly evolving market with both expected and unexpected challenges for all businesses in China, those who can quickly adapt to changes have better odds to survive and thrive. Only the PE investors who can identify those promising entrepreneurs and empower and enable them to build more successful and robust businesses with capital, resources, network, and strategies can survive. This, in no doubt, has raised the bar for all private equity investors, both domestic and international, in our markets. Among the current 20,000 fund managers in China today, a good number of them may be washed out in the next years to come. Before I wrap up my speech, I want to say a few words on relationship between China and Europe. The world has seen a rising tension between China and the US over trade and certain other fields. I'm no expert on foreign affairs, but it seems obvious that this would hurt businesses and the markets in both countries. If there is any wisdom I gained from my 2 decades of working with various business partners around the world, it is that trust breeds true partnership that in turn rewards all participants in long term. Sometimes it requires one party to take a leap of faith in other. I'd like to be the one to first reach out, as I'm a true believer of trust in business world. Just recently, I and my team set up a private equity investment platform called New Capital. It offers all of primary, secondary, and direct investment products in both RMB and USD. We are backed by reputable sovereign wealth fund and absolute industry leaders. New Capital's vision is to become the nexus point of our business partners to empower them and to generate economic returns for all. I welcome you to ride on the magnificent development momentum in our market through investing in this part of the world. Last but not the least, I wish everyone safe and healthy. As Napoleon said, victory belongs to the most persevering. Thank you, BPI and everyone, for having me today. Merci beaucoup.